Hi and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I'm trying out this new headband, which I believe is called a Berlin headband, and I actually do feel a bit like it's a bit regal, isn't it? Not quite sure if it goes with my new hairdo, but hey, I'm wearing it. It goes with my lipstick though, doesn't it? That wasn't planned. Today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag. This is a tag that I've seen going around a few other people's videos. I haven't done a book tag, I haven't done a tag video in ages. And most recently I saw it on Sana's channel, Books and Quills. I'll link her video down below. I don't know where this tag originated, but I'm looking forward to doing it because not only do I sort of have to have all my reading wrapped up by the end of the year, I have to have it wrapped up by the 1st of December, really, because December is a month up until Christmas which I spend reading Christmas books, and then normally sort of after Christmas Day I read some new books that I got for Christmas and birthdays. So yeah, so I thought it would be the perfect time to do it, seeing as the 1st of December is but a mere week or so away. It's not that long to go, is it, until the 1st of December. Tree up, Vlogmas, Merry Christmas, jingle bells. So yeah, let's crack on. So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I'm quite good, honestly, with keeping my Goodreads, and I've got a reading spreadsheet where I log my reading up to date. And if I sort of if I don't go back to a book within sort of like 2 or 3 weeks, then ordinarily I would remove those from my reading log. So the books that I've got to show you for the answer to that question are books that I've been reading for a while, and I'm almost at the end of most of them, so it's going to happen. So the first one is To the Bright Edge of the World by Elwyn Ivy. This is the book that I'm reading for my Patreon book club. We're going to be discussing this on Sunday, filming this on Thursday, and I'm this much through. So I am over halfway through. I'm 252 pages through a 465 page book. So I'm over halfway through, and I'm going to have a bath because it is freezing here, and sometimes I just can't warm up, even with the heating on and jumpers on and stuff, unless I have a bath. So I'm going to have a bath in a minute with a cup of tea and warm myself up and read some more of this. But very much enjoying it so far. You're following two people, well, a third actually, because there's a little secret thing that I'm not quite sure who that is yet. You're following Lieutenant Colonel Alan Forrester, who is on a mission tracking the Wolverine River, making a map of it. And you're also following his wife at home, who just before he left fell pregnant with, yes, just before he left fell pregnant. So you're following her sort of journey and his journey, and there's sort of like some magical realism and stuff in there, and yeah, very much enjoying it. It's not all, it's a epistolary, no it's not, I wouldn't even say it's an epistolary, because although there's letters in there, there's also journal entries and newspaper articles and sketches and things like that. So a very enjoyable book, very much looking forward to discussing that. The next book I'm reading is, that I need to finish, is Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. Now, as I said, I really am nearly at the end of this. This is 374 pages and there's only 380 something in there, so I'm like just over 10 pages from the edge of, from the end of this. I've really enjoyed this. I can't wait to talk about this more in my wrap up. But yeah, this is a women's contemporary fiction, which is a genre I do not normally get on with, but I've really loved it. It's one of the here's the claim, because this is what I'm going to say in my wrap up as well. This is one of the only women's contemporary fiction novels that I've ever read where I've really liked the narrator. Like, that rarely happens for me, and yeah, I just loved it. And it's not all cutesy, and it's not all tied up, and she's flawed, and I feel like it's a really good representation of mental health and panic attacks, and I could draw a lot of like my mental health issues that I've had in the past and correlate them to hers. But yeah, really have been enjoying this. I'm looking forward to wrapping it up. Props. And then the last one I've got to finish is Rife, 21 Stories from Britain's Youth. This is a library book, and I've got 288 pages into this, and there is, I'm sure this is what the tag's about, isn't it? Me telling you how many pages I've got left of a book. There's 330, so I've got about 50 pages, just under 50 pages of this left. And this is 21 Stories from Britain's Youth, from all dealing with all sorts of issues, from the fact that university, and is it potentially tailored not for the working classes. There's stuff in there about body image, there's stuff in there about mental health, there's stuff in there about trying to buy a house as a young person, and just very, very really enlightening and enjoyable essays that I've very much enjoyed. So those are the 3 books that I need to finish, not even by the end of the year, but by the beginning of December. So I can absolutely do that. The next question is, do you have any autumnal books to transition you into the end of the year? So yeah, for me, I suppose November doesn't really count as autumn for me. I know it is, but for me, I've sort of treated it more as wintry books, and there's 2 books that I picked and put on my TBR this month that I haven't even read yet. However, I am going on holiday shortly, and I should be able to get a little bit of reading done before then. So the first one, and this is a proof copy, this is 5 Days of Fog by Anna Freeman, and this is set in when the Great Smog falls over London in 1952, which I believe happened in December 1952. Let me just double check, I'm sure it says it at the beginning of one of these. Yeah, 4th of December. So I'd quite like to read this before December starts, so I may well take that away from me. And you're following a gang of female criminals called the Cutters, and the woman who leads the Cutter, her daughter has fallen in love with someone outside of the Cutters, and will she leave the Cutters for him? Keep saying Cutters, don't I? Or will she stay true to her gang and her mother? So yeah, very excited to read that. And I feel like if I miss the boat with reading it now, then I won't be able to read it until sort of like similar time next year. That's just my mad head, that's just what I feel like. And then the other one is another one that I didn't read last year and meant to read, and that's A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dubois. This is the first book in the Mirror Visitor series, and this is a YA fantasy book translated from French, and you follow Ophelia, who's able to travel through mirrors to visit other people, other worlds, sorry. And I think in this book, she's promised, it says here, she's promised in marriage to Thorn, a taciturn and influential member of a powerful clan from a distant arc, the cold and icy pole. Ophelia must follow her fiancé to the towering city of Citta Celeste, where nobody can be trusted. There, in the company of her inscrutable future husband, Ophelia slowly realises that she is a pawn in a political game that will have far-reaching ramifications not only for her, but for her entire world. So yeah, this is another book that I suppose I could read this in January, so I won't feel like I've missed the boat with this if I don't get this read then. But yeah, those are the 2 books that sort of transitioning me. 3, is there a new release you're still waiting for? There's no new releases I'm waiting for this year. I do still have a few new releases that I want to read in the month of December, Christmassy books that came out in October, so you would still count those as new releases, but there's nothing that I'm waiting that hasn't been published yet. So 2 of the books that I'm waiting to read are, sorry, my washing machine's going, I hope you don't mind. The first one is Twas the Nightshift Before Christmas by Adam Kay. This is the author who This Is Going to Hurt, who is I mean, if you've watched this channel before, you will know how much I love This Is Going to Hurt. Secret Diaries of a Junior Doctor, from the first day he becomes a junior doctor right up until when he quits working as a registrar, when he's about 6 months away from becoming a consultant. And this is a series of Christmassy diary entries and Christmassy bits to do with that, and I loved that book so much. I love This Is Going to Hurt. I loved how funny it was and how heartfelt it was, and how it crushed my heart, and how much I was able to apply it to my day job. I work in the NHS, so I see and I have quite a lot of dealings with junior doctors, so I love that, and like that sort of thing mixed with Christmas. I'm really looking forward to reading this. So that's one of the books that's a new release that I haven't read that I'm excited. And then the next one is Last Christmas, which has also been published only recently, October I believe. Oh, I've damaged it a bit there. This is, I'm gonna have to close that door, aren't I? You can't concentrate on me when that's going on. I don't actually know how much good that's done, because although the door's closed, the washing machine is behind me, like just past that wall. The next book I was talking about is Last Christmas, which is curated and introduced by Greg Wise and Emma Thompson. This is a book of essays and stories on memories of past Christmases and Christmases to come, told by some famous people, writers, etc. So people like Graham Norton, Bill Bailey, Caitlin Moran, Amelia Clark, and other people who've been homeless, political refugees and volunteers. And yeah, this is the book that we're going to be reading for my Patreon book club in December. There was a vote and this won. Only just, the other book it was up against was The Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch, which I will hopefully also be reading in December. But this book won the poll, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it and just reading just some what people's Christmas. I love hearing what people's Christmas is about, and I'm really interested to hear what Christmases are like for people whose Christmases aren't like mine. So very much looking forward to that. If you want to join the Patreon book club, there's still an opportunity to do so. We have now picked the book, but you can join right up until the 1st of December. I will leave my Patreon link down below. We talk about, we're going to be talking about Last Christmas by Greg Wise and Emma Thompson, and there's going to be a mid-month check-in where David and I will talk about our initial thoughts on Last Christmas, and then the Sunday before Christmas, which I believe to be the 22nd of December at 7 PM GMT time, GMT because Greenwich Mean Time, not Greenwich Mean Time time, we'll be talking about this in a live show, which you'll get access to if you become part of the Patreon book club. So yeah, if that interests you, then head on over to the Patreon club and chat Last Christmas with me. So those are 2 books that I'm still new releases, not that I'm waiting for, that I'm waiting to read. The next question is, what 3 books do you want to read before the end of this year? And I'm going to pick these 2 because these 2 out of all my Christmas reads, excuse me, out of all my Christmas reads, these are the 2 I'm most excited about. And then I'm also going to pick a book that's been sent to me and that also came out this year, and I'm very, very excited to read, and I think I'm going to take it away with me. Take it away! That's The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So Erin Morgenstern is the author of The Night Circus, which is a book I've read twice now. One many years before BookTube, and more recently, I think I read it like last year, and this book was sent to me. I mean, look at it. Look at those pages. And this dust jacket, it's just like, it's sort of got it looks like a notebook. It's got like a marble effect, and this bee, oh, lovely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it, and it's about a chap called Zachary Rawlins who stumbles across a strange book hidden in his university library, which leads him on a quest unlike others. And I feel like that's quite a good book. It's quite good to take a sort of adventure story away with you and just to get very immersed in it. And I feel like a big book like this I will get immersed in. So that's another one that I'll definitely be reading by the end of the year. Number 5 is there a book you think could shock you and become your favourite book of the year? I mean, I'm always open to a book shocking me and becoming the favourite book of the year. As I said, I'm looking forward to the Adam Kay book very much, so I don't feel like that would shock me if it then did turn up to be my favourite book of the year. Reading Christmas books, I very rarely include the Christmas books in my favourite books of the year. Not in a because they're Christmas books way, but just in a because they're not sort of like immersive reads for me. They're normally short story collections and stuff which I don't normally get fully into, picture books and things like that. So maybe there isn't going to be my favourite book of the year so far, but I've definitely read some really good books this year, and I'm looking forward to filming my favourite books of the year. But I don't know, I think I might have already read my favourite book of the year this year. I'm not gonna tell you what it is though. And then the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2020? Am I gonna say 2020 or am I gonna say 2020? I'm gonna say 2020. I have started making plans in that I'm not gonna have any plans. So since I started BookTube, I'm a very sort of structured person. I like to make lists, and I like to pick out TBRs, and I like to do this, and I like to know what I'm gonna be reading, and I like sort of planning that I'm going to read this certain amount of books this year. But I feel like sometimes that's a bit counterproductive for me, telling myself that I need to read, for example, 150 books this year, of which at the moment I think I'm 8 books behind. It doesn't stress me out super loads, but it'll be nice to just sort of like pick some some books mood reading. I'm so sorry. I've had a sore throat for weeks, and that sore throat's disappeared into this really pathetic tickly cough where there's just nothing there. I'm just sort of like all the time, like Umbridge. So yeah, so I think next year I'm going to focus on not having so many rules. So I'm still going to be doing TBRs if the mood takes me. There's something I did last year called June Eyre, where I read all Jane Eyre books in the month of June. I think next year I'm going to do Pride and Prejudice. And obviously in December I'll be reading Christmas books again. In January I sort of take it to be my, to read my new books, the books that I got for my birthday and the books that I got for Christmas. So I'll probably do that, but I don't think, the main thing I'm trying to say here is that I don't think I'm going to set myself a target on Goodreads for however many books I want to read. I think it's a good tool to keep track on the books you've read. So I think I'm going to set my target at 1, which seems bizarro and something I would never have thought I would ever have done. But I think I'm just going to take it easy next year and not set myself a target and just see how things go, really. So yeah, so that's what I think I'm going to do, which just is unlike me, guys. It's unlike me. So yeah, that's the end of the year book tag. I hope you're all having a lovely November so far. Let me know if you've done this book tag. Let me know below in the comments, or let me know your answers to some of the questions. I will write all the questions down below. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye!